Folks, I can't tell you how happy I am. This is a great story. First of all, it is December the 11th, Saturday, and it's around afternoon time. I had an ad in the newspaper. Do you remember it? We read it to you. And the ad said, Glendora needs somebody to extricate her 1980 Lincoln from her garage in her backyard. Well, this morning the telephone rang, and it was a young man named Todd. His last name is McQuaid. He lives near us, near Nassau Lake, right here in the village of Nassau. And his mother loved Lincolns. And when she went on to where Franklin is, and your good friends are, friends on earth and friends above. What is that hymn? Wait just a second. For the joy of human love, for the of something in for the joy of human love, for the something something, for the friends on earth and above, every word that's tender and mild. I'll try to do it for you later. And so we have friends on earth and friends above. We have her mother, and she had a 1996 Lincoln, and since she has passed, the son, Todd, tried to keep the 1996 Lincoln going and on the road, but it is extremely expensive to try to keep up with an old car. If you're going to be an old car buff, you've got to spend a lot of money. And so that right there wins you to him, right? And he asked me what I wanted, and I told him just what I told you. And he says, I'll be over sometime today. And then we narrowed it down. He'd be over in a half an hour or an hour, and he came. And lovely Carol took him to the garage and showed him the two cars, the two Lincolns. And he actually was able to move the 1980 Lincoln. This is a 1980 town car, Lincoln Continental Mark VI. The first year and only year, well, one other, that Ford ever did that. And he actually was able to move it a few turns. Then he found out that the 1993 Lincoln Town Car, that it is locked in park. Hello.
Hi, Glendora. It's Pat. Sorry, I couldn't talk to you before, but I was in the midst of shopping. Our kids were shopping.
Pat, how did it go?
It went very well. It went very well. The kids had a good time. We had a good time. So it was good.
This was at the Nassau Free Library.
Right. This is something we were doing every year and had to skip last year because of the virus. So, people were very glad to be back, and it's going to stay open during the week. We don't have to put everything away until Thursday. So people who couldn't come today can still come down and look for things.
And
but it was fun to watch the kids picking out things for different members of their family. It was cute.
And what was the price range?
Nothing was more than $2.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So most things were $1.50, And even with low prices like that, I think our profit was over $150. So that's not bad. It was the program to engage the community more than the money. It wasn't really a fundraiser. It raised a little bit of money, but that wasn't the main point. The main point was just to get to outreach to the community, get kids coming in, things like that. So.
Of course, noble, all of them. Now, Pat, I remember who started that. The librarian's daughter. What's her name?
Yes, when Priscilla was living with her dad, she was going through her mother's things, and she and I decided that it would be good to, offer these things to the community. So that's how it started.
And there was somebody else besides you, too. Do you remember it? Who the somebody else was?
No, I only remember Priscilla.
Oh, okay.
Priscilla, because it started with her mother's collectibles, essentially.
And her mother had gone to heaven when? How long ago? 20 years ago?
She passed away in 2007, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was around 2007.
And then
that started about 2011 or 12, something like that. The holiday gift shop.
And then when her daddy passed and went to heaven, she sold the house and went to Colorado to live with her children?
Well, she lives near her children, near her daughter. She has a daughter in the same town. I think it's Durango, something like that. And her son, she has a son, I believe, that lives near Denver.
And how far away was their house from the library?
The Sherman?
Yeah.
I don't know, in the matter of feet, right across the driveway.
I'll tell you how far it was, folks. It was one driveway.
Yeah, one driveway. That's right.
And how long was her mother the librarian of the Nassau Free Library?
40 years.
Isn't that something?
She was there. She ran that library for 40 years. She brought it from a one-room little place to expanding it to what it is now, to making it a what do you call it? A system library instead of just being an individual library. She really did a lot to bring it into the 20th.
Well, I'll say, if she went from a one room to what it is today, she certainly did a lot. Now, what was that one room?
It was the front room of the library where
it was the front room.
Nonfiction is, where the computers are. That was it. And at one time, I think there was a stove in the middle of the room.
A potbelly stove?
I think so. There's definitely a grate right there. So, but I'm not sure that it was well before my time.
And who was?
In fact, by the time we moved to Nassau, the library extension was already built. So I never knew that library as the one room library.
And who occupied the building before the library?
I believe that was that part of the Catholic Church used to be.
No, it was not. It was not the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church was a building south of that, honey. I know that.
Glendora, I was. You didn't give me a chance to finish.
The time is 2:00 p.m.
If you look if you refer to that book, I'm sure there is a book on the history of the library as to what that was before. I think it was purchased. Oh, I don't know. At one point, the library was just upstairs of one of the businesses. It was just a big room upstairs.
Oh, there is?
And then it was bought. There was always a group of people from the community that were very interested in having a library. And that group of people purchased the building. Where the building came from, I can't be sure. So that might be part of the history. Yeah, I'm sure it is. It's in the history book that Carolyn Lippitz wrote a long time ago.
And who became librarian after?
I don't know who. There were a couple of people before Carolyn, but I don't remember their
No,
names.
who
It was
became
nobody that I
librarian
knew.
after Carolyn?
Carolyn was the one that I followed, Carolyn Sherman.
So, folks, what I'm trying to get at is that the who became librarian after Carol, it's the person that we're listening to right now.
Oh, that was me.
Yes.
Oh, yes, that was me.
And how long were you librarian? 15 years? 16 years?
15 years, a little over 15 years, yeah.
And how'd you happen to become librarian?
Well, I worked there for a while before that. I ran the children's programs, and I helped out with clerical duties and circulation duties. And when Carolyn decided to retire, she encouraged me to apply for the job. So I did.
Very, very interesting story.
Mhm.
What year did
Okay.
you retire?
2013. So I was going to tell you about coming later. Is this a good time, or should I call
Yeah.
you back?
Oh, yeah. Would you tell me about coming later?
Well, I don't have time to bring you to make what I said I was going to make, the scallop potatoes, but I could make you a potato and corn chowder.
No.
I couldn't get the scallop potatoes ready in time. I haven't even started yet.
Okay, well, wait a second. Let's see if I can think of something better than corn chowder. I like corn chowder, but could I have something else in addition to it?
You'd have to be more specific so I know, what do you feel like eating?
I would, all right. Would you have time to make spaghetti and sauce?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I think the
Okay.
spaghetti and sauce are here. I think you bought them last Wednesday. I think they are here.
I did buy some ragu sauce.
Okay, could we have corn chowder and spaghetti and sauce?
Okay.
Oh, that would be lovely.
Okay, well, I'll get busy on it now. If I'm not there right at 4, it's because I'm getting it ready. Hello?
Hello.
Okay, did you hear what I said?
I did. I heard every word of it.
Okay, okay.
But I would like to have you be here at 4 if you could.
But do you want me to make the soup? I do have to start the soup.
Yep. That's going to be
Okay.
good. And will Richard, your husband, have some of it?
Probably, yes.
And these
Yes.
potatoes are from your garden?
Yes, they are.
Oh, isn't that grand?
Okay.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that so much.
Okay. Well, I will see you later then.
Yes, would you like to hear a lovely story, or would you like to wait until you're here and I'll tell you in person?
You can tell me in person, because then
Okay.
I'll get going on the soup.
Yeah. Oh, gee, thank you very much, my dear friend Pat.
Okay. Take care.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Carol, you all right? Carol? Are you okay, Carol?
Yeah, I'm eating my lunch. I'm waiting for
Oh,
you.
good. Good, I love it. I love it that you're eating your lunch. Now, okay, I started to tell you folks a story. So you knew I had that ad in the newspaper, our little local hometown shopping news called The Advertiser, and it's owned by Times Union, which is owned by Hearst, which is owned by a whole lot of people. Okay, and this name, Todd, and he came, and I told you he did move the 1980 Lincoln, and then he said the battery wasn't charged, and I do not understand that, because we paid $40 or $50 for a charged guard or whatever you do to keep that battery charged. That was the whole point of buying it. Why didn't it keep the battery charged? Wasn't it hooked up right or something? So anyway, this is how Todd ended it up. Okay, Bertie, right after I finish his story. You know what the birdie was saying? He's saying that he's going over to his cousin's house today, and they are going to have chocolate-covered birdseed. Okay, so Todd is going to come tomorrow with he took my battery home. By the way, he lives just down the road, less than a mile. Isn't that grand? Isn't that grand? All things work for good for those who love the Lord and know his purpose. You cannot deny that. And if you are not experiencing it, it's because we are not thinking right. By the renewal of our minds, we have to think right. And if we do think right, I have personal knowledge that that's the way our lives will be. All things work for good for those who love the Lord and know his purpose. And you know God's purpose. God's purpose is to make the universe better, to make it grow, to make it glow, and to make it go. That's what we're all here for, and that's why we're one-to-one, shoulder-to-shoulder. Back to Todd. So he will charge our battery overnight, and by the way, this is the most expensive battery there is. It's like $150. The most expensive that expensive Napa has. You know how expensive Napa is. And then he will try to start up the 1993 Lincoln, which has already been detailed. It looks beautiful. It looks brand new. Then he'll get the 1993 Lincoln out of the garage, and then he'll be able to... Oh, by the way, he has dollies. He owns dollies. So he will be able, either by 3-point turns and keep turning it, or by a dolly, he will be able to get the 1980 Lincoln out of the garage, and then his job will be done. Then enter Timmy, the detail man. Somehow or other, Timmy is able to drive the 1980 Lincoln over to his shop in East Greenbush, on Rabbit Lane or something. What lane is that? Something Lane. Isn't that a sweet story? And Vicki, you did a grand job last night on a chat with Glendora, which happens to be what this is all about. It's not about spend down, and it's not about paying a trust, and it's not about sending things through the computer to the trust. It's about making videos, and that video is to say, when all is all said and done, the only thing that really matters is how did you treat others. That's what this is all about. Want to hear a joke? This group of women formed a walking club, a hiking club. They would go out and hike, and their husbands called it the walkie-talkies. Another joke. The advertising salesman said to the store owner up in Vermont that he should buy an ad in his magazine. And the store owner says, look, I've been here 70 years. I think people know where to find me. And the advertising salesman, you see that church up there on the hill? They've been here 70 years. but they still ring the bell Sunday morning. The teacher went out of the room, and the boy wrote on the blackboard, "I am the best kisser in this room." The teacher came back and said, "Did you write that?" "Yes." "Then you are going to stay after school." And the little girl said, "You see, it doesn't pay to misbehave." But the little boy said, "Yeah, but it pays to advertise." I'm going to come back with a Bible lesson, and I'll come back with a hymn, and we'll see how best you like that.